All right, today we're diving into something that touches literally every business out there, from the tiny corner cafe to those massive tech giants. It's called market structure, and we're going to break down the 4 big ways our competitive world is put together. Let's get right into it.
So let's say you're about to launch a new company. This is probably the very first question that pops into your head, right? Am I jumping into an ocean with thousands of other fish? Or am I one of just a few big sharks? The answer to this changes, well, everything.
And then there's this big one. If you decide to drop your price to get a little bit of an edge, what happens next? Do all your rivals instantly match you and poof, your advantage is gone? Or can you actually make a move without causing a huge ripple effect? These aren't just business school questions, you know. They are the day-to-day reality for every company on the planet.
So here's our game plan. We'll start by looking at why these questions are so important. Then we'll take a journey through the 4 core market structures, starting with perfect competition all the way to a pure monopoly. And we'll wrap it all up by putting them side by side to see how they stack up.
You see, the answers to those big questions about competitors and prices, well, they all come down to this one core idea that economists call market structure. Getting a handle on this isn't just some academic thing. It's absolutely essential for survival in the business world.
So what in the world is market structure? Think of it like the rules of the game. It's the set of characteristics that defines how companies in a specific market are going to compete, how they're going to set their prices, and at the end of the day, how well they're going to do.
And while you might think there are a million different kinds of markets out there, it turns out that economists have boiled it all down to just 4 main types. And pretty much every real-world business fits into one of these 4. These are the pillars we're going to explore.
So let's kick things off at one extreme end of the spectrum, perfect competition. I want you to picture the most competitive market you can possibly imagine. We're talking about a situation where every single company is just a tiny, tiny drop in a vast ocean of sellers.
What does that look like? Well, first, you have a huge number of sellers. And second, they're all selling the exact same identical product. Think of something basic, like a specific type of wheat. Because of this, no single farmer, no single firm has any power to change the price. They're what we call price takers. They just have to accept whatever the market price is that day. And for us, the buyers, this crazy competition usually means we get the lowest prices possible.
Okay, so let's take one step away from that absolute chaos. We're now in the world of monopolistic competition. The market's still really crowded, but here the whole game is about one thing, trying to stand out from the pack.
And the big idea here, it's all about one word: differentiation. You still have tons of sellers, but now their products are slightly different. Just walk down the shampoo aisle in a store. There are dozens of brands, right? But each one is trying to convince you it's special. This one's for curly hair, that one's for volume, another one has a special scent. That tiny little difference gives them a little bit of control over their price, and it gives us a ton of choices.
All right, now things start to get really interesting. We're moving into oligopoly territory. We are no longer in a crowded market with tons of players. Instead, the entire industry is dominated by just a small handful of huge, powerful companies. This is a game of giants.
The key thing to understand about an oligopoly is that it's like a high-stakes chess match. Every single move one company makes, whether it's a price cut or a big new marketing campaign, is watched like a hawk by its rivals, who then react immediately. Think about cell phone providers. When one of them launches a new data plan, what happens? The others almost always fire back with their own offer within days, if not hours. It's a constant strategic dance.
And here we are at the complete opposite end of the spectrum. The crowd is gone. The competition has vanished. We are left with one single, lone giant who rules the entire market. This is a monopoly.
A monopoly is exactly what it sounds like. One seller, many buyers. And because there are no direct competitors and no good substitutes for what they're selling, that one company is the market. A classic example is a national railway system, like Indian Railways. They're the only game in town for train travel in the country. And what does that mean for customers? Well, it means very little choice and, often, much higher prices.
To really hammer this home, just look at the 2 extremes we've talked about. In perfect competition, a single company has absolutely zero control over its price. In a monopoly, that control is enormous. This power to set prices is probably the single most important outcome of a market structure.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. We've walked through all 4 pillars. Now, let's pull it all together and look at these 4 structures side by side. Think of this as the ultimate cheat sheet to put it all into perspective.
When you lay it all out like this, a really clear pattern just jumps out at you. As you move from left to right, from perfect competition over to monopoly, what happens? The number of sellers drops off a cliff, from very large all the way down to just one. At the exact same time, the products become more and more unique. And as a direct result, a company's control over its own price goes from nothing at all to, well, almost everything. That's the whole journey in one single snapshot. So, I want to leave you with a question. Now that you have this framework, start looking around. Think about the businesses you deal with every single day. When you buy your coffee, when you stream a movie, when you choose your internet provider. What kind of market are you actually in? Are you in a world of cutthroat competition, or are you in the grip of just a few powerful players? Once you start looking, you might see the world around you a little differently.